NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Neuro, which is the nervous system, linguistics, which is language, and programming, which is the patterns that we elicitate in everyday life. I'm not stabbing it. Most people use scissors like a normal human. Cool. Probably not the best method. It's simply the internal representation we place on a particular word and how we make that mean in our own world. And 90% of what we do every single day is performed on an unconscious level. All of those unconscious patterns are then playing out in our conscious life every single day. Understanding what those patterns are allows us to remove any of the limiting beliefs that might not be useful in serving us of where we're wanting to go for our goals. So we walk into the toy shop and it's like after horse riding. And I'm like, all right, you can have one item each. We walked out with 24, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. I get home and I unbox the bag. Name that bumhole. So whilst it seems like a really vulgar game, it was actually very popular. So that is what Evie chose when we went to the toy shop. If I told you to close your eyes and really think long and hard about what family or the terminology family means to you, that's going to be something different to you than to the next person than to the next person. When you consider your family, are you including your husband, your parents, your dog? Do you include your neighbours? So everybody's internal representation of a word is going to be so different. Sometimes we have a different internal representation, and from there we have a belief structure which causes our values. Now, if you were to consider that a belief is a series that creates a core value or an internal representation, then that'll help you to understand yourself on a better, deeper level. And the second game is a game called Spot It. And the rules that I had to play meant that she won every time. Not so fun. Anyway, just wanted to show you my cards, but name that bumhole. Really good game. What's that? Is
oh my God.
Is it? It's absolutely. Do you know what though, Hunter Cake?
That's disgusting.
Now, I'd like to, if I can, just share with you how I came about discovering NLP, because it wasn't something that was ever on my radar, and I cannot imagine my life without having this education base now. Walking into that room, his name was Brad, who was our first lecturer, and he basically said to us, who here knows what their core values are? And everyone was like, I do. Me, being a great mum, put my hand up and I was like, family, love. And he's like, very typical answer. And I was like, most women are conditioned to believe that our core values should be a certain set of core values. Family, kids, husband, and that makes us a good human. However, underlying are our true core values, and they were actually formed in our imprint years, which is before we're even 7 years old. And I walked out with a totally different set of core values. What we should perceive as being our core values versus what they actually are is acknowledging, number one, is that there's no shame in what your core values are. Do you know Evie will only wear flares? They're skinny legs. Soz, babe. They're skinny legs. Anyway, I don't need to unbox this on camera. Freedom is my highest core value. And when I figured that out, I was like, oh, cool. I can still have my family, but freedom's my highest core value. Now, my second is connection or love. They're both the same level. Now, reason being is that connection and love for me is the same meaning or internal representation. My third is purpose and growth. Now, that is so important to me, because if I didn't have purpose, I feel so lost. I feel better when I'm helping other people. I feel better giving than I do receiving. And for me, it's really important that I have a purpose in life, and my purpose is really clear. If I want to help as many women as humanly possible. I never want my daughters to have the same experiences that I have had, and I really want to make generational change and shift. They're my 3 core values. Does that mean my family are not number one? Absolutely not. Everything I do is with my family in mind. The way that I have been able to live my life, to be able to give my children the life they have, the schooling they have, the education they have, every single part of it comes back to them at the root core. I had Kai when I was 18, I was married at 17. For me, having Kai was the ultimate blessing of freedom, because for me, being raised in a religious household, that allowed me that space to be able to choose my own life path. And that makes sense to me, and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. And it's quite incredible to see how our life plays out when we have this level of self-awareness. Now, another factor here relating back to health and fitness is freedom being my highest core value. If you told me that I had to only stick to this food or this plan or only do this, how do you feel that my internal representation of that would actually go? Not good. And so this is where flexible dieting has worked so well for me. Now, if your highest core value is safety, you might not actually like flexible dieting. You might like a set meal plan and like the structure. And this is where it's so incredible as humans. We're so different. And it's so powerful when you understand somebody else's human design, their core values, because then you can tailor it according to them. The other massive, massive thing that I learnt with NLP was the filter model towards or away from. And it's really important for health and fitness goals. Somebody who's been overweight, who wants to lose weight, their goal may be, I want to lose weight because I don't want to be overweight. Now listen to the language in that. I don't want to be. It's an away from driver. They don't want to feel a certain way. What we're wanting to do with this is shift it to a toward driver. And this right here has seen so much change with my clients. I am losing weight because I can't wait to feel healthy, energetic. I cannot wait to feel good in my skin, my clothes, my body, right? It's a toward driver. And that right there is so, so important when we're setting goals. Did you just say I was a designer? Because have I got a trend for you then? So this stuff, right? So there's 3 different scales. I love the fact I'm literally like Burke's Backyard. What's that show? Do you know the show I'm talking about?
Backyard Blitz.
Backyard Blitz. It's dry, which means it could go on another coat. So it's like concrete paint, and you have to spatch it on. So there's 3 different types. Number 1, you have to paint. Number 2, you've got to use a brushy thing. But number 3, she's got a mitt. And you literally smack it on, and it's so good. But it won't have grey through it. But I'm just trialling the colour. Don't look at that, it's not finished. It's not finished. There's a really key part of being an NLP practitioner, and it's like one of the first things that we're taught, and it's respecting everybody's model of the world. It's their world, it's their reality, and it doesn't need to make sense to you. And that was such a massive lesson for me, because it's respecting their model of the world and their version of what life looks like for them. Usually when somebody determines what their value is, and it might be, let's say I value money, because without money, I don't have anything. And you go, why? Why is that? And the end result of that, and that values hierarchy, might be happiness. You're actually searching for happiness in all of that, but it's on a deep unconscious level, because we're programmed to not have to feel. And so we automatically go, well, money, plane tickets, holiday. But what is it actually giving you when you get that? This is why whenever I set goals with any clients, any challenge, I want to know how you're going to feel at the end of that challenge and why you've chosen that goal, because otherwise you're going to get to the end of the challenge and you're going to hit a 100 kilo squat and you're going to go, oh, well, that wasn't what I was thinking. And this is the problem, is we don't actually know what we're chasing because we're chasing everybody else's version of what their idea of success is or what their goals are. This is the beautiful wallpaper. If you are new here, the girls wanted leopard print, black and pink leopard print. And I said, are you sure? And they said, yeah, 100%. And then I tried to convince them into this and they went for it. So while they were hot on it, I went for it. So there's 3 ways that we actually process information. So we delete, we distort, or we generalize. So that's the 3 ways in which we process everything day to day. Now I'm going to give you a really clear example here. I walk down to the coffee shop and I'm having a really bad hair day, my hair's all scruffy, and one of the kids says something about my hair, and I personally make that mean I'm not good enough. And I get to the coffee shop and I notice that the lady who's serving me is called Jane, because I see it on her slip, and she throws her money back at me and she doesn't look at me, and I go, oh, Jane noticed my hair. And I get my coffee and it's the wrong order. And I'm like, ugh, okay. Jane doesn't like my hair. No one likes my hair. She even made my coffee wrong because of my hair. I'm just gonna go home because no one likes me. So really clearly here is somebody made a comment about my hair, which is an internal representation that I have a trigger to. Could have been something that doesn't matter. And then I noticed her name was Jane. What do I do with that information? I delete it because I don't need to keep it. I distort her treatment of me based on the fact of something that had happened that morning. But I made it mean something and I distorted the information to match how I was feeling. And then I generalized that everybody felt that way because of a distortion or a distorted perception that I had during that interaction. Was it facts? No. Was that reality? No. That was how I felt. And it's really important here that we actually go, where do I distort information and delete and generalize? And it's really important that we go, how do I feel in this moment? Because there might be something that we can actually uncover and unlock here. We also got another book called There Are Mums That Are Way Worse Than You. Yep, proof that I am indeed a fantastic parent. In case I needed any more reassurance. The first thing that I would potentially become aware of if you've never heard of NLP and you're wanting to start looking into it or integrating it into your day-to-day would be to become aware of any unconscious patterns that you do. I'll put this back into a health and fitness perspective of self-sabotaging. Every night you're going to the fridge and you're binge eating. That's the behavior that's presenting. Unconsciously, there's an internal emotion that's driving that behavior. And when we actually stop and go, what am I feeling in this emotion that's causing me to get up and go and binge eat prior to that happening? That's when we can actually change that internal representation. And the way and the task that I do for a lot of clients is for 14 days, I want you to track 15 minutes before you did it. How were you feeling? What were you doing? And for a lot of people, feeling is hard. The other thing to this is that when we are looking at a sabotaging goal, a lot of my clients, the sabotaging actually comes from an internal belief that if they reach that goal, it's going to mean something more than what they've made it mean. And the internal representation might be, let's say that it's actually, if they hit their weight loss goal or their fat loss goal, they've made that mean, I've heard everything under the sun. They're going to be too good for their friendship group. They're going to lose their job. They met somebody that was that size 20 years ago and they were horrible to them. So they've actually created a belief structure that that weight equals a horrible person. That's an unconscious belief that's brewing underneath. So imagine being able to go, oof, that is what's driving that behavior. Let's remove that because you're an epic human. You are beautiful and you are kind. And when you reach that weight, you're still going to be beautiful and kind. You're just going to be more energetic, and you're not going to bounce out of bed. You're not going to be lethargic. And so if somebody is struggling with negative thoughts or feelings and the way that that's kind of presenting, what I would suggest doing is setting really small tasks to build and establish self-worth and self-esteem. There's this rule of 3 things every day that you could do on your bare minimum. And I've heard people, their 3 things may be put on their shoes, make their bed and brush their teeth. And I've heard other people's and it's been like run 10 Ks, 3 litres of water and have a home cooked meal. Everybody's levels are so different. So these 3 things I will never break to myself, because every single time we break a promise to ourselves, we're teaching ourselves we're not trustworthy. You have to have that innate trust of yourself, that your word is 100%. You know that you've got your own back. Guys, she only wears flares, right? And they're like scraping along the bottoms because she's tiny. And I'm like, are you sure, babe? Like, and then because at the moment their fashion is quite outrageous, I was like, all right, it's subtle leopard. They didn't take them off, they slept in them. Leopard print, we're on. We got purple. So we've got winter clothes, which is very cute. Very cute. I hear a lot online in relation to support, not having like-minded friends, not feeling like people fit in. And most women that I talk to are lacking community and lacking that feeling of having that support network. My biggest piece of advice that I would give to somebody looking to make new connections or friendships, and I hear this a lot, and the terminology I hear is like-minded women, is to show up authentically as yourself, how you want to be treated. And then the other part to that is, if you're showing up as yourself and people who don't want to be friends with you don't be friends with you, that's fine. Because in life, we're not going to like everybody and we shouldn't have to. And you get to choose who you want in your life. And if you're a busy woman like I know I am, I have very limited time. And the time that I do have, I want to spend with quality people. And that doesn't mean that I hate anybody I'm not spending time with. It simply means that I'm choosing to spend my time with people that fill my cup up. It's like a different level of being able to show up authentically as yourself, having that community and having that support. And there's something called confidence transference. And when somebody believes that you can achieve something, you actually give them the confidence to be able to achieve it. My community of women are so beautiful, like so beautiful. Something I'm so proud of. I had a lady message me this morning and was like, do you want to go for a beach walk? I can see that you live near me. And I was like, oh, kind-hearted, beautiful women who want to be better. When we're surrounded by people like that, we want to be better too. I love them.